Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Chiller. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the 5-cent coin from the United States, specifically the Jefferson nickel minted in 1990 with the Philadelphia mint mark, also known as the 1990p Jefferson nickel. This coin has a lot of history, collector value, and interesting details that make it an important part of American coinage. Whether you are a new collector, a coin enthusiast, or simply curious about United States coins, the 1990p nickel has a story worth exploring in detail. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Felix Schlag designed the coin, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse. Over the years, the design has seen some updates, but the 1990 Jefferson nickel still carries the classic look that most collectors recognize instantly. The obverse shows Jefferson facing left with the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1990. Right next to the date is the mint mark P, which tells us this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse features Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, along with the inscriptions Monticello, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. In 1990, millions of Jefferson nickels were minted, and the Philadelphia Mint struck a very high number of these coins. The exact mintage for the 1990p nickel was over 600 million pieces, which means this coin is not considered rare in circulation. However, as with all United States coins, condition, errors, and varieties can make a huge difference in value. While a worn example of the 1990p 5-cent coin is worth just its face value of 5 cents, collectors are always searching for uncirculated examples, high-grade mint state coins, and coins with striking errors. When talking about grading, the Sheldon scale is very important. A typical circulated 1990p nickel may only be worth 5 to 10 cents. But if you find one in higher grades, such as mint state 65 or better, it can be worth a few dollars to collectors. Superb gem examples graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC are very tough to find and can bring premium prices at auctions. This is because even though so many were made, most coins went into circulation and developed wear, scratches, and nicks. Finding a pristine example is always a challenge, and that's what drives the value up. Error coins are another area of interest. Collectors love hunting for Jefferson nickel errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planches, or full steps on Monticello. Full steps are particularly important because the steps on the Monticello design are one of the highest points of the coin. They often fail to strike fully, so coins that show sharp, complete steps across Monticello are very desirable. A 1990p Jefferson nickel with full steps, especially in a high mint state grade, can be worth significantly more than a regular strike. Let's not forget proof coins from this era as well. In 1990, proof nickels were struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark, not Philadelphia. So if you have a 1990p, it's a business strike from Philadelphia. Still, some collectors enjoy comparing the business strikes to the proofs to understand the difference in quality and finish. Proof coins feature mirrored backgrounds and frosted devices, while circulation coins like the 1990p nickel were made for everyday use. Another reason the 1990p nickel is interesting is because of where it fits into U.S. history. The early 1990s were a period before the big changes to the Jefferson nickel design in the 2000s. The 1990 issue represents the traditional design era, making it appealing for collectors who enjoy building full date and mint mark sets of Jefferson nickels from 1938 onward. Completing a full collection can be a long-term project, and the 1990p is an essential piece in that puzzle. If you are a new collector and want to start with coins like the 1990p Jefferson nickel, the best approach is to look through your pocket change, visit local coin shops, or check online listings. You may come across rolls of nickels containing these coins. Always check the condition carefully and look closely at Monticello steps under magnification to see if you have a full steps example. Also look for die cracks, doubling, or off-center strikes, because even a minor error can make the coin more valuable to collectors. For long-term value, higher grade coins are the best investment. Most circulated examples will never be worth more than a few cents, but certified high-grade examples with full steps can bring $20, $50, or even over $100 depending on the exact grade and rarity. Always remember that coin values fluctuate based on demand, the precious metal market, and collector interest, so it's important to stay updated with price guides and auction results. The 1990p 5-cent coin is also a great educational tool. It gives us a chance to study design details, minting technology, and the history of US coinage. Even though it is a common coin, it still has stories to tell. Every scratch, every mark, and every detail represents its journey through circulation. For some collectors, that history is just as valuable as the condition of the coin itself. So, if you come across a 1990p Jefferson nickel in your change, don't dismiss it as just another ordinary coin. Take a moment to study the details, check the condition, and see if it has any special characteristics. Who knows, you might discover a rare full steps variety, a valuable error, or simply add a solid piece to your growing collection of United States coins. First up, the 5-cent coin from the United States, the Jefferson nickel dated 1991 with the Philadelphia Mint Mark P, is a fascinating piece of American coinage history that continues to attract collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts around the world. When we take a closer look at the 1991p nickel, we see not just a small piece of metal but a coin that tells the story of the United States Mint, the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, and the ongoing tradition of U.S. coin design. The obverse of the 1991p Jefferson nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This design was originally created by Felix Schlag in 1938 and remained a part of the nickel until it was redesigned in the early 2000s. On the 1991p nickel, you can clearly see Jefferson's profile facing left, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" along with the year 1991 and the Mint Mark P to show it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse side of the 1991p Jefferson nickel displays Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home, which has been a key element of the nickel design for decades. Above the image of Monticello is the word E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, a strong motto of the United States. Below Monticello you'll find the name Monticello, the denomination 5 cents, and the country name United States of America. Together, the obverse and reverse designs capture not only Jefferson's likeness but also his home, making this coin deeply connected to American history and symbolism. The 1991p Jefferson nickel was struck in large quantities, with hundreds of millions produced by the Philadelphia Mint. The composition of this coin is the standard used for nickels since 1866, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5 grams, has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, and a plain edge with no reading. This gives it the classic look and feel of the United States 5-cent coin that collectors instantly recognize. While the 1991p nickel is considered common in circulation, its condition, strike quality, and any potential minting errors can greatly influence its desirability and value. In circulated condition, most 1991p nickels are worth only their face value of 5 cents. However, in uncirculated grades or mint state condition, the value can increase depending on the grade. Collectors often look for nickels graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, with mint state 65 and higher commanding more attention. Some examples in very high grades can bring in more than their face value, especially when they exhibit full steps on the Monticello reverse. Full steps refer to the sharpness and clarity of the steps on Monticello, which are often weakly struck on nickels. When a 1991p nickel shows all 6 steps fully struck, it becomes much more desirable to collectors. Errors and varieties also play an important role in the appeal of the 1991p nickel. Like many coins, some were struck with off-center designs, double dies, or other minting mistakes that make them unique. Collectors often pay premiums for these error nickels, as they are far less common than regular strikes. Searching through rolls of nickels from banks or old collections can sometimes reveal such errors, making the hunt for 1991p Jefferson nickel even more exciting. This coin also represents a period in U.S. coinage history before the major redesign of the nickel that occurred in the early 2000s. For decades, the Jefferson nickel design remained relatively unchanged, and the 1991p nickel stands as part of that long and stable design era. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels often try to assemble complete date and mint mark sets, which means coins like the 1991p are essential for completing such collections. Even though it is a common year, no complete collection would be finished without it. When handling a 1991p Jefferson nickel, it is important to take care to preserve its condition. Coins should not be cleaned, as cleaning can damage the surfaces and reduce their value. Instead, collectors store their nickels in protective holders or albums designed to prevent scratches, tarnishing, and environmental damage. The luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal of a 1991p nickel can make all the difference when it comes to desirability among numismatists. The Jefferson nickel series itself is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history, and the 1991p issue is a part of that enduring legacy. Since its introduction in 1938, the Jefferson nickel has remained a staple in American pockets, vending machines, and cash registers. Even though billions have been produced over the decades, collectors know that each coin has its own story, and the 1991p nickel is a snapshot of early 1990s America. At that time, the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins in huge quantities to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage, and the Jefferson nickel continued to play a vital role in everyday transactions. For those new to coin collecting, the 1991p nickel can be an excellent starting point. It is affordable, widely available, and offers the chance to learn about US coin designs, mint marks, and grading standards. From there, a collector can branch out to other dates, other denominations, or even world coins. The important thing is to recognize that even a common coin like the 1991p Jefferson nickel connects us to history, design, and the artistry of the US Mint. Over the course of time, coins like the 1991p Jefferson nickel will continue to circulate less and less, as digital payments grow in popularity and fewer people use cash on a daily basis. This may eventually make coins of this era more nostalgic and collectible in the future. Already, younger generations are starting to see coins from the 1990s as part of history rather than just pocket change. The 1991p nickel will eventually represent a time capsule of American money in the late 20th century. Collectors today can still find 1991p Jefferson nickels in circulation, in change from everyday transactions, or in bankrolls. Searching through these can be a fun way to discover higher grade examples or even error coins. Coin shows, online auctions, and coin shops also regularly offer 1991p nickels in uncirculated rolls or certified by grading services. This allows collectors to choose the level of quality they want to add to their collections. So whether you are holding a 1991p nickel in circulated condition, admiring a brilliant uncirculated example, or searching for rare errors and full-step varieties, this coin remains an important part of American numismatic history. It reminds us of Thomas Jefferson's contributions, the artistry of Felix Schlagg's design, and the enduring tradition of the US 5-cent coin. Every detail, from Jefferson's portrait to the steps of Monticello, adds meaning to this small but significant piece of money. In conclusion, the 1991p Jefferson nickel from the United States is much more than just a 5-cent coin. It is a collectible, a piece of history, and a coin that connects everyday life with the broader story of American coinage. Its design, composition, minting history, varieties, and collecting potential all make it a worthy subject of study for anyone interested in coins. From casual collectors to serious numismatists, the 1991p nickel offers something of value, both educational and historical, making it a coin that deserves recognition and appreciation. Next up, and welcome to this detailed discussion about the 5-cent coin 1992p from United States. Today we will take a closer look at the 1992p Jefferson nickel, a coin that holds a special place in the history of American coinage. Many collectors, numismatists, and coin enthusiasts are always searching for more knowledge about the United States nickel, and the 1992p 5-cent coin is one of those issues worth talking about in depth. The 1992p nickel belongs to the Jefferson nickel series, which has been minted since 1938. On the obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the founding fathers. This classic design has remained familiar to generations of Americans, making it one of the most recognized coins in U.S. circulation. The 1992 5-cent coin with the P mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most important minting facilities in the country. When we talk about the specifications of the 1992p nickel, we see that it is made of a copper-nickel alloy, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. These features are consistent with other Jefferson nickels of the modern era, making the 1992p nickel a standard but important part of the US coinage system. The edge of the coin is plain, which is another typical feature of the nickel. Collectors often want to know about the mintage numbers of the 1992p 5-cent coin. In 1992, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation, which means they are not considered rare in the average sense. However, within large mintages, there are always opportunities to find coins in excellent condition, coins with errors, and coins that can be valuable to collectors. The 1992p nickel can be found in circulated condition with ease, but in uncirculated grades, or in mint state conditions, these coins can carry a premium among collectors. One of the most interesting aspects about the 1992p 5-cent coin is searching for errors and varieties. Sometimes planchette errors, die cracks, or off-center strikes can be found among these nickels. Such error coins are highly desirable, and collectors are willing to pay much more than face value when they encounter unique examples. Even small doubling in the lettering or in Jefferson's portrait can be of interest. That is why many coin enthusiasts carefully examine their 1992p nickels with magnification, hoping to discover something special. The historical background of the Jefferson nickel also adds to the appeal of the 1992p nickel. First introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, the Jefferson nickel has seen decades of American history. By 1992, the coin had already been in production for over 50 years, carrying the same design that Felix Schlag created. This long continuity makes every year of the Jefferson nickel an interesting collectible, and the 1992p nickel is part of that tradition. In terms of value, the 1992p nickel is usually worth its face value in circulated condition, since so many were produced. But collectors should never underestimate the demand for pristine examples. A high-grade, uncirculated 1992p nickel, especially one with strong luster and no significant marks, can sell for more than face value in the coin market. Coins graded by professional services in mint state 65 or higher condition may command respectable prices among collectors. Special attention should also be given to full steps examples, which show sharp details on Monticello steps on the reverse. These full steps nickels are much harder to find and are particularly prized. Another reason the 5-cent coin 1992p from the United States attracts interest is because many people still enjoy coin roll hunting. Searching through bank rolls of nickels gives hobbyists the opportunity to find older coins, silver wartime nickels, and varieties. While looking through rolls, a sharp 1992p nickel can still appear, and that adds excitement to the hobby. Every coin has a story, and finding one that is over 30 years old in circulation brings a connection to the past. For educational purposes, it is important to note how the 1992p nickel fits into the broader history of American currency. The Jefferson nickel design has endured longer than most U.S. coin designs, second only to the Lincoln cent. Coins like the 1992 5-cent piece represent both stability in the nation's coinage and also the ongoing appreciation of American history. The Philadelphia Mint's role in producing this coin further connects it to the heritage of U.S. coin production, since Philadelphia is the oldest mint in the country. The reverse design of the coin, featuring Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, is another defining feature. The building is depicted with detail, and the word Monticello is clearly inscribed. This has always been a symbol of Jefferson's legacy and an important reminder of American heritage. The 1992p nickel carries this design forward, making every coin not only a piece of money but also a miniature work of art that circulates in everyday life. When we consider the longevity and collectability of the 1992p 5-cent coin, it is clear why collectors keep it in their albums and collections. Even though it is common in number, the coin is valuable as a part of a complete Jefferson nickel series. Collectors often aim to build complete date and mint mark sets, and the 1992p nickel is a required piece of that puzzle. Without it, the collection is incomplete, and that gives it significance in the hobby. As time moves forward, more of the 1992p nickels will wear out, be lost, or disappear from circulation. That makes high-quality preserved examples more desirable. Even common coins can gain value over decades, especially when they are no longer easily found in pocket change. That is why holding on to coins like the 1992p nickel can be rewarding in the long run, both as a collectible and as a piece of American monetary history. So the 5-cent coin 1992p from the United States may seem like an ordinary nickel at first glance, but when you explore its background, details, design, and collecting appeal, it becomes much more than just 5 cents. It is a coin that carries history, artistry, and value to those who appreciate numismatics. Whether you are a new collector or an experienced one, the 1992p nickel is worth paying attention to. Now we will explore and welcome to this detailed discussion about the 5-cent coin from the United States, specifically the 1999D Jefferson nickel. In this video we are going to explore everything about the 1999D 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel, minted in Denver in the year 1999. Collectors, coin enthusiasts, and anyone interested in American currency will find this journey fascinating because the Jefferson nickel is one of the most recognizable and widely used coins in U.S. history. Today we are going to look at the design, the history, the composition, the mintage numbers, interesting facts, collectible value, and why the 1999D Jefferson nickel remains important for coin collectors even today. The 5-cent coin in the United States has a long history, beginning with the Shield nickel in the 1860s, then moving to the Liberty Head nickel, followed by the famous Buffalo nickel, and then the Jefferson nickel which began in 1938. By 1999, the The Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for more than 60 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American pockets. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse of the coin features Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, a neoclassical building located in Virginia, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Both of these design elements give the Jefferson nickel historical and cultural significance. The 1999 D 5-cent coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the letter D mint mark found on the obverse of the coin, to the right of Jefferson's portrait. This mint mark helps collectors distinguish where a coin was produced. The United States Mint has multiple locations, and Denver is one of the most important facilities for producing circulating coins. In 1999, millions of Jefferson nickels were minted at Denver, making the coin fairly common in circulation. The large mintage numbers mean that most examples of the 1999 D nickel are not considered rare, but condition plays a huge role in their collectible value. The composition of the 1999 D nickel is the same as other modern Jefferson nickels, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gives the coin its distinctive silver-gray appearance and durability for everyday use. Each nickel has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, a weight of 5 grams, and a smooth edge without reading. These physical details are important to collectors who look for specifications when identifying coins. When it comes to mintage numbers, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels in 1999, and that is why the 1999 D Jefferson nickel is easily found in circulation even today. However, collectors often look for coins in uncirculated condition or in special mint sets. Coins that have never been used in commerce, with sharp details, full steps on Monticello, and brilliant luster, are more desirable. The term full steps refers to the lines on Monticello's steps on the reverse of the coin. If the lines are clearly visible and unbroken, the coin is considered more valuable, especially in higher grades certified by professional grading services. For most circulated examples, the value of a 1999 D 5-cent coin is usually just 5 cents, its face value. But for coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 or higher, values can range higher depending on demand, rarity of the grade, and overall eye appeal. Some 1999 D nickels with full steps in extremely high grades can bring much more attention from collectors. That is why searching rolls of nickels or checking old coin collections can be rewarding, since finding a pristine 1999 D Jefferson nickel can be a pleasant surprise. The Jefferson nickel series has remained popular because of its long run and historic connection to one of America's founding fathers. In 1999, this design was still the standard, but just a few years later in the early 2000s, the Westward Journey nickels were introduced, temporarily changing the design. That makes the 1999 D nickel one of the last years before those design updates, adding to its place in the historical timeline of U.S. coinage. Collectors enjoy building sets of Jefferson nickels by date and mint mark. If you are working on such a collection, the 1999 D nickel is one of the required coins. While it is not particularly scarce, finding one in high grade with strong eye appeal can add significant quality to a collection. Some collectors also enjoy searching pocket change for these nickels as a hobby, since they are still in circulation over 2 decades later. The coin's design by Felix Schlag has endured for generations. His portrait of Jefferson is dignified and instantly recognizable, while Monticello on the reverse showcases the architecture and cultural heritage tied to Jefferson's life. Even though the design has seen minor adjustments over the years, the core elements have remained, connecting coins like the 1999 D nickel to the broader history of American coinage. When evaluating a 1999 D nickel, collectors look for luster, strike quality, the presence of full steps on Monticello, and the absence of major contact marks or wear. Coins that have been well preserved since 1999, such as those kept in protective holders or original mint packaging, will always stand out from circulated examples. In addition to its collectible aspects, the 1999 D nickel also represents a piece of everyday history. Millions of Americans use these coins in daily transactions for groceries, gas, and other expenses at the end of the 20th century. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of that era in your hand, a reminder of the economic activity and daily life in 1999. For those interested in coin collecting, the 1999 D Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how even modern circulating coins can have value beyond their face amount. Whether you collect for historical interest, investment potential, or the simple enjoyment of the hobby, nickels like this play an important role. They tell the story of American history, art, and economics in a form that everyone can recognize. As we wrap up this extended discussion, remember that the 1999 D 5-cent coin is more than just a piece of change. It is a symbol of Jefferson's legacy, an enduring design by Felix Schlag, and part of a coin series that has been a staple of American pockets for decades. Whether you are a new collector or a seasoned numismatist, examining coins like the 1999 D nickel can deepen your appreciation for United States coinage. So the next time you come across a nickel dated 1999 with a D mint mark, take a closer look. You might just have a well-preserved collectible piece in your hands.